welcome all of you to today's session of Visual JForex, in which I will be explaining to you the use of indicator block named Woodie pivot. This is an interesting indicator which can be used to determine the trend of the underlying instrument, and this is not a lagging indicator. It gives you idea of the trend then and there, and also you can make out the possible reversing point. So in that sense you can utilize it to even gauge the turning points and plan for the entry and exits during the course of the day using this indicator block. So we will add this indicator block on this Visual JForex board. This is developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA, using which we can develop the automated trading setups to trade on the forex as well as the CFD instrument. Here is the Woodie pivot block. Now coming to its parameters, we have to define these four parameters, and then depending on the customization we will be getting this central point and the three resistance and three support points. So in all you get the seven output points, which can then be utilized to design and develop the optimum trade setup for the entry exit of the given instrument. We will use on candle as our start point for today's session. Now, before we can customize, we need to get familiar with how the indicator works. So I will add this indicator on the JForex chart. Here you can simply do the quick search and you will get the Woodie pivot point. Now this is the USD JPY chart on the hourly time frame, and the indicator customization is for the daily time frame, and this is being plotted using the daily time frame data. But if we consider its key points, I think for intraday perspective we can utilize this indicator to see on which side the trend is, whether the trend is bearish or whether the trend is bullish, and what are the optimum opportunities which are likely to arise during the day. And I think one key thing is that we can use this central pivot point as a deciding marker. If the price is trading above it, after crossing over it, we can consider for the fresh buying opportunity. If the price is trading below it after crossing below recently below the central pivot point, in that scenario we can look for the short sale opportunity, as well as we can rely on these resistance point. We get three resistance points as well as three support points, and mainly the third resistance and the third support is considered of crucial importance. If the price action is not much strong, generally in a normal course of the day we see the trend reversal happening after getting close to the third resistance point. If the price action is strong, then the price might cross over and sustain itself above it, and in such scenarios we shouldn't really be looking for the shorting. But if we see that the price action is not strong, and we are seeing the possible consolidation happening closer to the resistance or the support zone, then I think that's the point where you should be looking for the contra trend opportunities to get involved and possible reversal happening closer to those points. And as I said, we can utilize this indicator to that end as well. So two ways are there available to us which can be utilized to gain the entries in the trade. As I said, one way is to treat this central pivot point as the deciding marker, where we treat the price action above it as generally bullish and the price action below it is considered bearish, and then utilizing the third resistance and third support point as the possible reversal points, and as and when the price gets closer to it, and if we see the consolidation below that resistance point, then I think we can definitely go for the fresh shorting. And in case of support point, if we see the price action holding well and showing signs of reversal after consolidation, then that is the time you should be getting involved for the buy trade. Now coming to its customization, if you are looking for the intraday trading opportunities, then this daily time frame customization is good enough. But if you want to use it on the larger time frame for the swing trades, then you can even give it a try for the weekly or monthly time frame. So this is how the weekly will be plotted. Now you get the central pivot point which will be valid for the entire week, and you get the key resistance and support levels which are valid for the week. As I said, I think here if I change the chart for the 4 hourly, then it will be more clearer to you how the price action generally plays out and how we can utilize these on the weekly time frame for swing trading opportunities. And we can also utilize the indicator on the monthly time frame. All we have to do is edit it, make it monthly instead of weekly, and you will get the idea of the underlying trend as well as the possible reversal points for that particular month. So this is how this indicator can be utilized. So we now go back to the Visual JForex board, and we will see how we can customize the indicator block. So I'm restoring it to the daily time frame. Now let us head to the Visual JForex board. So here is our customization tool, and first thing is we have to choose the instrument of our choice. If we want to work with the Euro USD, then well and good, you don't have to change anything. If you want to design and develop the algorithm for any other indicator, either instrument which is supported here, then from this list you can take any instrument of your choice, and you will be able to design and develop the algorithm for that particular instrument. So for example, in today's session we will take one indicator which is going to be, I think we should take NZD USD. Okay, so here we are using the NZD USD as our instrument of choice. Now coming to the time period, as I said, we have to customize this, and uh, contrary to the other indicator, I don't see much of an use of the shorter time frame like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even hourly. That's too short to be used for possible determination of the support and resistance point. So generally I stick with the time frame of some use to be around starting onwards of 4 hourly, or ideally it should start from daily, but of course it's always your choice. So first thing to make sure that you are designing the system which is going to be optimum, you can even give it a try like lower time frames like hourly, half an hourly, and after testing you will get the idea whether it works or not. So you can try and see how it performs on the historical data, and then you can make your mind for the choice of time period for these Woodie event. Then coming to the shift is the look back period. If you are trying to access the current candles data, then shift should be at 0. If you want the data to be retrieved for the prior candlesticks, then the look back period needs to be defined accordingly. If you want to go back in time, say by 2 days, then you take shift as 2, and you will be able to retrieve the prevalent Woodie pivot point outputs the central point as well as the resistance point 2 days back. So that's how this system works. For example, if I change it, if I make it 2, I will be getting the data of 2 days back. Now coming to the period here, as I said, the daily is a better choice. So here also you have all these choices given to you, and generally it should start from daily, and this is one parameter which I have already talked about. So you can keep all these instruments parameters in mind while designing your algorithmic setup. So we keep daily as it is. Pardon me. Now, after this defining of the input parameters, we will be getting these all 7 output values, the central point, as well as the resistance and support points, which then can be utilized to set the conditions which will be used to execute the trade. So only if certain conditions are met, the trade execution will happen. If the conditions are not met, then no trade will happen, and we can use the logical block like if block to do the comparison to see if certain parameters are being fulfilled or not, and we can then join these various blocks and set the conditions which will be necessary. Now coming to these settings, we also have to make sure that we use these offer side carefully, and it should be, if you are doing the comparison, then the offer side should be the same, and that's why we have to pay attention here. And the applied price also, it doesn't make much difference as the calculations formula is given, and we can see that regardless of the applied price for these indicator block, the calculation will be done as per the formula, and there we will not be experiencing much of a difference because of the applied price. So for these indicators, the applied price doesn't really make much difference. So that's it from my side for today's session. I hope you have been able to see the use and the utility of this indicator block, and you will be giving it a try and try to design and develop the system and see how it performs using the historical tester. So that's it from my side for today. Thank you all for joining in. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.